Imagine a vast sun-scorched landscape. A riverbed dry for millennia has been carved by wind and time. Here, a scientist brushes away layers of ancient dust. Slowly, painstakingly, a shape emerges from the earth. It is not a stone. It is something different. It is bone. But this is no ordinary bone. It is ancient, it is fossilized, and it holds a secret. It is a fragment of a skull. It is a piece of a jaw. It is a sturdy thigh bone. This is a message from a world we can barely comprehend. It is the beginning of a remarkable story. Our story. The excitement of such a find is almost electric. It connects our world of today with a past so distant it feels like a dream. These discoveries are the first whispers from our deep ancestry. Each fragment is a puzzle piece. It might be millions of years old. To hold such a fossil is to hold a direct link to an individual who walked the earth long before any city was built. The real work begins back in the laboratory. They study every curve, every ridge, every tiny detail of the bone. The bone begins to tell its tale. It speaks of a life lived. From these silent, stony witnesses, we begin to reconstruct a picture of our earliest relatives. Once a fossil is unearthed, the great task of classification begins. It is like trying to assemble a family album with most of the photographs missing or torn. Scientists must become detectives, using the clues available. The shape of the skull is incredibly important. A larger brain case, for example, suggests a greater cognitive ability. The position of the foramen magnum tells us whether the creature walked upright on two legs, a hallmark of being a hominid. This process is called taxonomy. It is the science of naming and classifying organisms. To decide if a fossil is a new species, scientists compare it meticulously to all other known fossils. They measure the length of the leg bones. They measure the shape of the pelvis. They measure the size and arrangement of the teeth. Dental features are particularly revealing. Each species is given a two-part name, in Latin. The first part is the genus, like Homo. The second part is the species, like sapiens. So we are Homo sapiens. This helps to create a coherent family tree, showing how different groups are related. A new species is only declared when differences are significant enough to suggest a distinct branch. Each fossil adds more detail, sometimes confirming what we thought, other times forcing us to redraw our ancestry completely. Let us journey back in time, perhaps 2.5 million years ago. Here, on the African savanna, we meet one of our earliest known relatives, Homo habilis. The name means handy man, and this species began to shape its world in a new way. Homo habilis was the first to deliberately craft tools. They would strike one stone against another to create a sharp edge. Simple choppers, Oldowan tools, were revolutionary, used to butcher carcasses, to crack bones for marrow, to dig for roots. Homo habilis was small, not much taller than a chimpanzee. Its brain was larger than Australopithecine predecessors. Better tools, better food, bigger brains, which led to even better tools. Around 2 million years ago, a new ancestor appears. Homo erectus, the upright man, taller bodies, proportions much more like our own. First to venture out of Africa, spreading across Asia into parts of Europe. Homo erectus made a technological leap, creating the hand axe. Acheulean tools, symmetrical, teardrop-shaped, crafted on both sides. There is evidence that Homo erectus may have been the first to control fire. Fire provided warmth, protection from predators, a way to cook food, unlocking more nutrients. Homo erectus truly changed the game for our lineage. Their larger brains, more human-like bodies built for endurance. They were capable of long-distance running. For well over 1 million years, Homo erectus was the most successful hominin on the planet. Their fossils have turned up as far afield as Spain, Georgia, China, Indonesia. Much later on, in Europe and Western Asia, another famous relative emerged, the Neanderthals, or Homo neanderthalensis. They appeared around 400,000 years ago. They were shorter and stockier than modern humans, a build that helped conserve body heat. Their faces were distinct with a prominent brow ridge and large nose. Neanderthals were sophisticated toolmakers, creating specialized Mousterian tools. They were formidable hunters, able to take down large game like mammoths and woolly rhinos. They lived in small family groups, cared for their sick and elderly. There is compelling evidence they deliberately buried their dead, sometimes with symbolic offerings. And then there is us, Homo sapiens. Our species first evolved in Africa around 300,000 years ago. For tens of thousands of years, our stories overlapped with those of the Neanderthals. We were not alone. We shared the planet with our evolutionary cousins. The eventual success of our species is a story still being pieced together. The study of our past is constantly being transformed by new technologies. The stone tools our ancestors left behind are more than simple implements. They are fossilized ideas. Oldowan choppers, symmetrical hand axes, specialized toolkits show planning, foresight, fine motor control, but maybe the most revolutionary advance has come from clues hidden within our own genes. The ability to extract and analyze ancient DNA has opened up a breathtaking new window into the past. In 2010, scientists succeeded in sequencing the entire Neanderthal genome. They found that modern humans of non-African descent contain around 1 to 2% of Neanderthal DNA. This was definitive proof that our ancestors did not just replace Neanderthals, they met them and had children with them. The story got even more complex with the discovery of the Denisovans. Known only from a few tiny bone fragments, their entire existence was revealed through their DNA. We found traces of their DNA in modern populations, particularly in Melanesia and Southeast Asia. The world of the late Pleistocene was like a Tolkien novel, with different types of people coexisting. This makes our own survival seem all the more remarkable. Why did we, Homo sapiens, thrive while our close relatives vanished? The answers likely lie in a complex mix of climate change, competition for resources, and perhaps unique aspects of our own behavior and social structures. So why should we look so deeply into this distant past? This is the ultimate origin story for every single person on Earth. It is the shared heritage of all humanity. Regardless of where we live, what we look like, what language we speak, we all trace our ancestry back to those early hominins who first stood up on the African savanna. This is a profound and unifying truth. Understanding our evolution gives us perspective. It shows us that traits we think of as uniquely human, our creativity, our social nature, our ability to innovate, were not acquired overnight. They were forged over millions of years of challenges and adaptation. It helps us understand our own bodies, from our predisposition to certain diseases, to our remarkable ability to run long distances. Furthermore, this story is a powerful lesson in humility. Our family tree is filled with branches that ended. Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo erectus, they were all successful and intelligent in their own right. Their extinction reminds us that survival is never guaranteed. We are the last remaining species of human on a planet that once supported many. This knowledge carries with it a great responsibility to be wise stewards of the world and of our own future, a future that is now entirely in our hands. Ultimately, the story of human evolution is a celebration of connection. It connects us to the natural world, to one another. By looking back to our shared dawn, we can better understand our present and navigate our future together with greater wisdom, unity, and wonder.